Yeah, super affable guy is Dave Fernandez, and he is about to swing into another Ultimate Pool season for him. Champions League action here on your Monday nights, and a successful opening break from Salsa, who has absolutely creamed those, and he couldn't have asked for much of a better split to start your 2025 season.
Taking them for the rest of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. He wouldn't mind, would he? Imagine it will be reds, and he does have one available to the left middle. That is not the best shot he's ever played, though, and already just goes to show, doesn't it, that you've still got to play a good shot all the time, even when the layout is pretty kind.
Yeah, and looks, as he's looking there, looks like he's knuckled on the red on the rail, so he may have to come up with a treble on the red, if dependent on how much of this he can see.
Oh, it's a great effort, but it's not quite going to get there, and that will be such a disappointment for Dave already early on, I know, in this night, but he'll be so disappointed that that's how that first visit ended up, because
this is a big shot.
A little unlucky from Rob as he left anything, so
that's a clever shot from Rob. As you see, he's not left Dave a pot on any of the reds, and Rob's next visit to the table, his yellows are going to be all in the open.
Yeah, I thought at first glance he could get to one of the reds at the top end of the table, but I don't think he can. And yeah, pretty clever two-way shot there from Rob Wharne. Obviously hoping to make the yellow, but in not doing it, doesn't give Dave anything easy. And now the whacker can get to work. There is work on yellows. The 8-ball is a bit of an obvious problem. And now the top right corner of the table is occupied by reds too. That's not the best double Rob's ever played.
And this is a big opportunity now for Dave, and it'll be one he's looking to take. He may look to take the 3 at the top of the table first and track down for the red over the bottom left-hand corner pocket. Just needs a little bit of an angle on this red here, so he's having to reroute.
Rerouting has been a bit of a theme so far for Dave Fernandez. It's gone a little against him so far.
He's just going to have to be careful here, but he'll look to use the yellow on the left-hand side to hold position on the red. Just like that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
He's got a decision to make here. Does he leave himself the shot down the rail or stun up and leave himself a double?
He's just gone far enough. I thought for a horrible second that he was going to find himself stuck behind that yellow, but he's okay. That was nice. He could be on it, to be honest. And flies into the heart of the pocket. Excellent start then on the scoreboard, at least for Dave Fernandez. But well, when he came to the table, we thought it would be a pretty routine 1-0 start, but 1-0 doesn't really tell the story of that frame in any way, does it?
No, I'm a bit disappointed. I haven't seen Dave do the salsa dance already. But it's just be what he wanted to start the night with his break, and obviously he didn't get the break in clearance, but he's managed to capitalise and get the victory in the first frame. So, as we touched on earlier on in the interview section of the night, that Rob's essentially got his back against the wall and early on, and needs to come up with a big break straight away.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it, that if you make a couple of mistakes in a frame, as long as you win it, it's quite easy to forgive yourself for those sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another huge break, but he's been unfortunate, really. He's forced into taking yellows, and it's not really an easy finish on for them. So I suppose the question here is, when does Rob want to attack the yellows that are joined up with the black? He's going down early. That's enough.
Yeah, it needed to be really precise there, I think, because he's looking to land on the yellow to right centre, which is tight, but does go, but with an angle to just nudge the 8-ball and the other yellow into the open. And he's got another stab at getting there again, but he's pushing the boat out a little bit here, is Wackett.
He is, and what players don't want to do is sort of go into their tough balls as the last ball and not be guaranteed a shot. He's going to go into these with a bit of pace and rely on a bit of luck. He's come short again. Can he sneak it in with a trace of side? I'm not sure.
Oh, he's going to try. Oh, he could. Look at that.
He was perfect.
Well, just goes to show sometimes that the cameras can lie, and that opened up far easier than we ever thought it would.
What a reply. He knows.
I think he's having a little giggle with someone else who probably was in a similar boat to us, who thought there's no way.
Yeah, he's probably not thought no way when he was trying to play the shot in the first place, but he was forced into it and he's actually realised he was perfect.
Yeah, he'll take that, will Rob Wharne. That's not a bad outcome at all. It's a slightly easier finish then, ultimately in the end, compared to what we first thought. So 1-1 between these two players here early.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to be the last breaking clearance of the night. I think there's going to be plenty of them from all four players. And look at that break.
Certainly hope so, and if Dave continues breaking like this season, he's almost automatically going to enjoy a little bit more success. Just gives yourself more opportunities at the table.
He's got a little bit of work to do. He could go yellows and attack the yellow on the top right hand side as we look by playing the furthest yellow closest to the middle off the side rail, off the red, and open up the pocket. It just depends if Dave's seen it, which I think he has. Yeah, so that'll be his plan. So he'll be looking to take this one out, and then the next shot will be the key shot to this frame. Just. So he's just lining up how he wants to play it. So he's got to commit to the shot and play a little bit of screw to just hold position. Good news, bad news, he gets the pot, but I think he's got a little bit fortunate where he can just pot this yellow and just flick off the red and open up the pocket again.
Aidan Hughes there on the left, alongside Andrew Patchett, fellow Ultimate Pool Pro.
He's been based in Stoke the last 6 weeks, Andrew.
Has he?
He's working at this end of the country, and we've had a few knocks recently.
I was going to say, good place to hang about for him, I can imagine. Dave's going to run aground here. That was awkward.
Yeah, and I think Dave's sort of suffered there because he played both of the shots where he's attempted to go off the red a little bit tentatively, and rather than confidently with authority. And Rob might be tempted to either look for a loss of turn or maybe play a snooker here. He's opted for the snooker, and I think it's just okay.
Dave will certainly fancy this though. wasn't a million miles off it.
No, and it's not too bad because I know Rob wants to play the loss of turn, but can he manipulate the angle to get the snooker on the yellows? Because this is a tough shot. And he's done just that. So Dave will be looking to go side rail, bottom rail, and cut the yellow in. It's a gettable shot. Just missed it. It's left ball in hand for Rob.
Yeah, and that should be the frame. Rob's been patient in this frame, hasn't he? Hasn't minded waiting his turn.
He'll expect to get this finish, but it's not a gimme finish, as they say. It's the couple of balls on the rail, and he's got to land good position on both of them.
Yeah, he wasn't a million miles away from being in real trouble there. Just overhit that fraction. Altered angle, but not this much. Recovered it pretty well.
Is he going to be slightly hampered on the yellow, or can he get his cue in?
Yeah, perfect.
He's just able to get in.
And that's the... I know it's a pretty routine pot, but even just the way he strikes the ball there, he's just authoritative, isn't he, with his potting down the rails in particular. Just gives it sort of no respect whatsoever. He says, yeah, I'm not going to dolly this in down the rails. He's getting punched in.
Yeah, and as you see there, he knocks in the 8 ball, and that's from his snooker background, isn't it? He's confident, he's in his own ability of the way he pots a ball, and he doesn't expect to miss any shot that's given to him. And when you've got that confidence, as long as you can control the cue ball, you can go a long way.
Yeah, he's an excellent cueist, is Rob, and yeah, can be a little bit of a confidence player, which makes him in two ways. Sometimes a little bit vulnerable in tournaments when things are going and not going his way, but also when things are, he can tend to just absolutely batter people.
Yeah, he's one of a few that you put in the bracket of like Craig Waddingham's and sort of Sean Chipperfields of the world, where once they break and clear one, you seem to follow it up with 3 or 4.
Yeah, that was a hammer break as well from the whacker. Those did get absolutely whacked. Have a watch of this. 8 ball was close there as well. There was a thing or two about an 8 ball going in on a Monday night off a break. There's Rob Wharne, especially after last year in the Champions League. A few of you may remember he was up against Connor Tracy early on in last year's competition, where we saw it was like a blue moon event where we had Rob Wharne 3-0 in front, and we saw golden break, golden duck, golden break, dry break, lost the match. It was one of the most extraordinary things we've ever seen, and yeah, Rob on the wrong end of that, which is not where you want to be.
I wonder if he bought a lottery ticket that night. But to be fair, both players have got a history with the golden 8 balls, and so on. If you remember Dave in the Pairs Cup with Adam Basu that night when they had the
we saw the snake hips. That was the reaction earlier that we saw on the screen. I say snake. There was we'll let him off, but there were some stiff old hips that night for Dave.
Rob's going about this finish nicely. He's connecting them up well. He's just got to make sure he gets through okay for the red that's in the top left hand corner after this. He needs to leave an angle to get back out. Not sure he's on it. So hard to tell. He's shaking his head. He may have to reroute.
Oh, can he just squeeze the gap here?
Oh, it's a foul. This is a big opportunity for Dave to steal this frame and pull it back to 2-2 with which could be a couple of minutes left in the match, and which puts it all up in the air for who's going to take the first victory in the night.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen haven't we, throughout the history of Monday Night Ball, how important these early matches are. Dave's prepared to wait. Lost turn shot. Secures table dominance, but does bring Rob back to the table.
Here comes the whack.
He always knew he was going to get pretty good contact on that, but he was lining up the kick shot into the right middle, didn't quite get it, and worst of all, you couldn't leave the cue ball in a better spot really if you're Dave Fernandez.
Yeah, just needed a little nudge on that yellow. I'm just wondering whether Dave may pull back and wait for another opportunity, may look to lay up a snooker. He's going all out for it now, and I think the key is how good he gets on that yellow on the rail after this shot. It's okay, but he really just wants it to just roll this in. If he's got to play with an element of screw, then he could end up going an off. So, see how he feels, and he may have to reroute, but he's going for it. He's played that brilliant.
Super shot.
We had a good standard to start the match, and both players look okay. And this is the Dave Fernandez that we know.
Yeah, as you heard from Dave in his interview, he had a couple of years out of the game, and it sort of coincided with the pandemic from a few years ago as well. And you know, it's a player who was a sort of staple of a very, very good England team for a little while, and you just simply don't get in that team without being an exceptionally talented player.
Yeah, and everyone knows how good Dave is. I think the biggest thing is when you first come up, I can speak from experience, when you first come up into the Ultimate Pool ranks, the tournaments are not every week, so it's so hard to sort of gain momentum in the season, especially if you're always playing a seed first match and you're not quite getting the rub of the green, you're having to wait so long before your next event. It can be hard to build up that confidence and find that belief that you've got in your own ability.
It was telling me, ooh, that's going to be dry somehow. First one of the night for Dave Fernandez. Was good at hit as his previous two, but that one comes up dry. He was saying he's been going pretty well locally. He's a London boy. Missed out spots and stripes in the capital, and is the only player who's been able to claim some victories over him recently. As we see Rob miss a pot that we just don't see Rob miss very often. Is Dave's spots and stripes stablemate Joe Prince, who was in action over the weekend over in the USA, taking home the Arizona Open title with Ultimate Pool USA. So congratulations to Joe. Beat Craig Waddingham, another UP pro, in the final in that event. And he's been the only man who's been able to stop Dave Fernandez in London of late, so pretty good run of form if you can get it.
Yeah, and like you say, Joe, congratulations, Joe, myself, and this will be a great start for Dave. I think, like you say, this could tee up Dave's season. Like, some people don't look too much into the Champions League just because of the short format of the matches, but it's a big opportunity for Dave to really gain momentum. And we've got the first tour event in a couple of weeks' time at the British Open, and if he can win tonight, the confidence it'll take from that into that event will be huge.
Yeah, completely agree. It's never a guarantee to find little bits of rhythm and all the rest of it, but if you can, it can take you far.
I don't know if he's come up high long enough. He may have to play the double here, and that was the slack positional shot before that one, which left himself low on the yellow. So now he's got to play a double, and the time's running out.
Oh, hell of a recovery. That was a cue ball.
Oh,
Oh, he's come at smelling the roses here, hasn't he?
and Rob won't like that. Unbelievable finish by the Dave there to take a 3-2 lead with 48 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, there's not much time for Rob to recover, and that is the sort of finish that hurts a little bit when you get that little glimmer of hope. You can't avoid it. We say it all the time. You've just got to have this expectation that your opponent's going to clear up, but you can't avoid that little glimmer of hope in your chair, can you?
No.
It's the hope that kills you.
It is, yeah, and like you say, Rob had a big chance in that frame to steal it himself with Dave's dry break, missed the pot, and Dave's punished him, and I sense we're going to see a lot of anger in this break. And
well, he's got to try and get that 8-ball moving realistically, doesn't he?
Yeah, but Rob's capable of knocking in a clearance in 48 seconds. So.
He's a quick player when he wants to be, is Rob. He may need to be here.
There we go, needs a ball. Gets one.
All right then, Rob.
Oh, he's not got a shot.
When you just see the slump of the shoulders, it's a hell of an effort actually on that yellow, which was not easy, but it's going to be a win for Dave Fernandez to kick off tonight's Champions League action.
This group is wide open.
Yeah, it's put the cat among the pigeons, hasn't it? Now the upset win.
See Dave just having his lap of honour. I wonder if we'll be seeing a little La Salsa or La Bamba.
I don't think so. I think he's got a little bit too much respect for Rob. He's just making sure that the match is going to be over. Not too often that Dave sees the end of the matches on the clock, but there you go. He gets the victory and he's into the shed with a 3-2 win over group favourite Rob Wharne. What a start for Salsa Fernandez. Just